listening to the Bluejay Breakdown.
Welcome to the Bluejay Breakdown. I'm your host, Anna Bellinghausen. Joining me today, senior guard Lauren Jensen. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Season's almost here. How excited are you?
Very, yeah.
Feel like it crept up?
It did, honestly. Yeah, the preseason practices went by fast.
You were just in New York for Big East Media Days, and Creighton, of course, picked number 2 in those polls. Do you guys put much weight into those polls, or how do you look at them?
It's good to get the recognition. I think we definitely deserve that. I think it speaks to the experience coming back. As far as how much weight we give it, I feel like we do a good job of not kind of caving into those expectations and letting it get to us. Like, we already have those expectations for ourselves, and so just buying in and knowing what we can do, and that definitely helps offset that.
Yeah, well, talking about experience, you bring back that quartet, of course, yourself, Ronsick, Morgan Molly, and then Molly Mogensen as well. How important is that in that experience and just having those veteran leaders out there?
Yeah, it's really important. It's super nice playing out there with them. We don't necessarily need to start from scratch. We have that chemistry. We've established that for a long time. And just having experience in games and in situations where we might have our backs against the wall, like that comes in really big.
I feel like people forget that you transferred here from Iowa because you've just been around for so long. What have you learned just from yourself going back to that freshman, sophomore year to right now?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I've learned so much, just the maturity aspect on the court, the way I approach things, my mindset, my mentality. That hasn't changed crazy, but it's definitely changed in some areas, and just the fact that I feel like I look at it with a more mature approach and just like a smarter way. And I've definitely learned a lot since my younger years.
Yeah, I know. I remember talking to you probably last year or 2 years ago when teams kind of found out about you, right? And you kind of had that target on your back in the scouting report. How have you managed that?
Yeah, my sophomore year, I feel like people didn't really know who I was. I came out and they're like, oh, this shooter, she can shoot the ball, And last year I was kind of able to take advantage of that and score in more ways, attack some closeouts, get to the rim, find my open teammates too. And so I feel like that's the biggest area where I've been able to improve in that.
And your game has evolved too. When you go back to your sophomore year, shooting numbers behind the arc were incredible, and then last year they took a little bit of a dip, but you still led in scoring and found other ways, like you said, to incorporate your game. How has that kind of changed the way you look at the court and just your vision, what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, it definitely has changed it. The three-point percentage, I obviously shot it well in my sophomore year, and, I know it's something that I can do, and so I'm looking to get that back up, this year. But just when the three ball isn't falling, because you're not going to be able to shoot it well every single game, just being able to find ways to score in other areas or find open teammates and just contribute in some sort of way.
Yeah, you kind of got to use that target on your back to find other open teammates too. Did you like that role last year, especially kind of using that to your advantage?
Yeah, I did. I like finding my teammates open shots. I really like my role. I'm fortunate to be able to have that, and it's something that I take pride in.
Yeah, so you had an exciting off season too. Got to go out to Colorado Springs, do some 3-on-3 ball with Team USA. What was that experience like, getting just to mesh with your team in a way that you'd never had before?
Yeah, that was cool. 3-on-3 is a lot different than 5-on-5. I feel like our offense actually translates pretty well to the 3-on-3 game, but it's super fast. It's tiring, and it's just a fun game of basketball to play. So it's fun to get a different look and just be out there with the three of them and the coaches. It was a definitely cool experience.
What was the most surprising thing playing 3-on-3?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say, I don't want to say winning it all, because that was we went in there. Champion. Yeah, thank you. No, we went in there to win it all. I would say, honestly, how tiring it is. We had practiced beforehand, but getting out there and playing against other good teams, I was like, dang, this is really tiring.
And Big East opponents too. You got to see Seton Hall and Villanova. Was it cool getting to see them in a different setting?
Yeah, it was. We were able to see them around the gym. We were hanging out, watching games, and to be able to say hi, and then also play against them in a different setting and just a different kind of 3-on-3 system, it was cool. There's some like translations, which obviously, you know, that's going to happen, but there's also some differences in some people that played outside of what they would normally do in 5-on-5, so it was cool to see.
Another exciting offseason addition, Jalen Agnew joining the staff, of course, former Creighton standout, and then also played in the WNBA and overseas. What has she brought to the team early on?
She's brought a lot, you know, having that experience on staff, even though she is young. You know, she played here. She knows the system. She's obviously an amazing player for us. She played overseas, played in the WNBA, and so even from that perspective, just like a lot of us seniors and the younger girls who have aspirations to do that, she's a great resource to have on staff.
Before we dig into this season, I want to go back to last year and how it ended. And it was a tough note, of course, losing to Mississippi State in that first round, especially coming off that Elite Eight. Do you guys put weight into that? Do you think about it or talk about it too much?
You know, I feel like we try to not let it get to us, you know, in terms of feeling us in a negative way, if that makes sense. Some of us, or not some of us, all of us, definitely have a sour taste in our mouths when it comes to that. And just using that as some fuel this season to achieve what we know we can, you know, because we know we're better than that. And, you know, that's the thing with the NCAA tournament, too, is, like, it's one game and you're done. You know, it's not a series where you can maybe afford to drop a game. And so that's just basketball. But just trying to build off of that and learn from that loss is a key component to the season.
Yeah, what would you say you learned most last year coming in now?
Yeah, honestly, just, like, sticking to the basics and like staying simple. I feel like not trying to play outside of ourselves. That goes individually and as a team, you know, all buying into our role and playing our role to the best of our abilities, and also as a team just not trying to do anything that we're not, you know, because we're a fundamental team and we play a fun brand of basketball, but when we try to do too much, it can end up biting us.
Well, you still have some shoes to fill with some girls leaving, and Rachel Saunders and Carly Batchelor, and what I think they brought a lot of was physicality. How do you hope this team replicates that or fills that void?
Yeah, losing Rachel and Carly, you know, they were obviously had experience, and they did a lot for us last year. We're a very competitive team. Sorry, I'm a little sick. They're a really competitive team, or we are. And so I feel like in terms of that, we definitely have players who maybe didn't get a chance to necessarily show what they could do last year, who are ready to step up and have been playing really well in practice and have that competitiveness and fiery edge that both of Carly and Rachel brought.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Lexi Unruh this year too. How excited are you for her?
I'm really excited for her. You know, she hasn't really been able to play in a couple years, and she's been through it, and just her attitude and mentality towards it all has been awesome, and she's a great athlete, a great basketball player, great person. I'm just really excited to see what she does this year.
I don't think too much will change with the identity of this group, just given how much of the scoring you have back on offense, but defensively, what do you guys want that identity to be?
Yeah, I feel like defense is something that we need to be really sound on. You know, Flan says this and the other coaches all the time. It's like, no knock on us, but like we're not going to be the most athletic team out there. And so just being able to play one-on-one defense, but also relying on gap defense and just being sound in the fundamentals is going to be really big for us.
Personal goals and expectations for you this year, what are those?
Yeah, I'd say just trying to be consistent. Just going out there and doing what I know I need to do every game, and also being able to adapt to in certain areas and just bring to the table what I know that I can bring and do that for my team.
And you're a senior now this year, right? You've been there, done that. Being ranked in that top 25, again, going back to, do you put any weight on that? Does that change the mentality going in whatsoever of those expectations, or are you guys kind of just over that right now?
I feel like, again, it's good to get the recognition, but I feel like we do a good job of not letting the pressure get to us.
Absolutely. Well, I'll leave us on this note. Will the chain be back in the Creighton locker room?
I haven't heard from the coaches, but I'm assuming so. I hope so. So we'll see.
We'll have to see the dance moves come out. I mean, Flan, I think he should be working on some new moves this year. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he can pull out this year.
Lauren, thanks so much for the time. Good luck this season.
Yep, thanks.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.